the volume.
Turn up the volume.
You've arrived at the destination for all things Kentucky. This is the Bleed Blue Network Podcast.
What is going on, Big Blue Nation? And damn it. Damn it.
Damn it. Damn it. Damn it.
I said last week, this should be a game that we win and can sit Carr if he's hurt.
I think we both said that. We also doubled down and said that before the game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeesh. Well, Vandy gets to storm the court twice in about a week time frame.
I mean, they do
beat
owe us,
Tennessee,
$500,000 now. So
yeah. I mean, I tell you what, if I'm the president of the university, I'm okay with writing that check because that's a win against Bama, it's a win in football, it's a win against Tennessee, and it's a win against Kentucky. Three really big programs, and it's always confused me why Vandy's not like a sport powerhouse. Maybe Nashville hasn't always been Nashville.
The grades, it's Vandy. It's the academic standards I think are higher.
Man, well, they need to reconsider that because it's a great city and they have a chance to be something special. But we're not here to talk about Vandy. We're here to talk about Kentucky and what happened when they traveled to Vandy. This is the first time we had seen Pope coach team take an L and then come back and not respond in a big way. First time we've seen back-to-back losses in the Pope era. I know you texted me yesterday and you said, hey, I need to get something off my chest. So I think I just go ahead and let you go. And I'll fill in the blanks. How's that sound?
Okay. First off, I want to apologize. I am sick, BBN, so my voice sounds crazy. I'm sorry. I've been dealing with it for a while. I think I get so frustrated at our own fan base. I think it's the problem. We are the most fickle, self-righteous, hateful fan base. We always talk about the other fan bases, but when it comes to hating on our own
rabid.
teams,
it's like a rabid dog. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's not even about us going after other teams. It's we turn on our own teams at the drop of a hat. The literal if a team does not play to the perfect expectations, which halftime are very unrealistic for any team to be held to, people lose our shit. And I'm like, okay, listen. First off, this team is outperforming where anybody thought they would be, to be fair, 1,000%. If you would have asked BBN last spring, said, hey, would we beat Duke? Would we beat Gonzaga? They'd be like, no, ain't no way. And we have. We have really good wins. Have we got bad losses? Hell yeah. We do have bad losses. But at the end of the day, it's so frustrating and it's crazy to watch in real time. The ability for the fan base to turn on a team it's like seconds. It's insane. And I'm just gonna say this. I think this is gonna sound crazy, but karma's a bitch. Okay, and eventually, when you start putting that much stuff out there, it's gonna come back. Just saying.
Yeah, there were some battles going down in these Twitter group chats, man. Leading into halftime, it was the sky is falling. This is the worst team ever. Then all of a sudden, 8 minutes left to go in the game. Everybody's joking I was just being sarcastic. I didn't mean
crazy.
it. And then we lose the game, and it's right back to this team stinks. This is the worst. What are we doing? Pope messed this bubble. It's all right. I agree. you can be frustrated, and you should be frustrated when we lose to Vandy, especially when we come back, or especially when we come out the way we did in the first half, then come all the way back.
Go by
and we
7.
should be able to close that. Yeah, we should be able to close out that game, and we don't. You should definitely be frustrated. But exactly, if you said to this point before the first game of the season, hey, you're going to beat Duke, you're going to beat Gonzaga, you're going to have 5 top 15 wins, and you're going to be a top 10 team in the country. BBN, how do you feel about that? Everybody would be ecstatic going into
oh
year
my God.
one.
So happy. So happy. And let me be very clear. I am not in no way, shape, or form telling anybody how to fan. If doing that makes you happy, go for it. I just find it very frustrating and almost comical to watch. It's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. And it happens like that. And it's like, okay. Like, I get it. It's frustrating to watch. There are things that happened on Saturday that, I'm like, had me scratching my head, right? Like, I was staying in the damn kitchen again. Because I was like, well, I'm like this last time, going back in the kitchen now. Okay, like, whatever. But I don't know. It's crazy to watch. And I think now the struggles we're seeing in the SEC in general, this is where you see us like not having Carr and the impact that has on the team in general. Butler's playing hurt. That's obvious. Like, that much is obvious, but we don't have a choice. Like, he doesn't have a choice in the matter for the most part, I don't think. And Travis Perry, while he's not bad, he's gotten better. Some of these teams he can't play against. Like, the defense for Vandy, some of those guards are really quick, and they were eating him alive when he had the ball in his hand.
And if he's not making shots, he took a 3, didn't drop for him. So if he's not making shots, it's tough to have him in there, because he is at times a defensive liability for sure. So I gotta let you know, that's not where I agree with you 100% with that rant. Not where I thought it was going. I thought we were going to be game focused, but nevertheless, it needed to be said. Okay, 100% needed to be said.
I have game focused takes too. It's fine. I just want to get that from it. It's just so frustrating.
Why not start it off that way? Because it's got to get out there, and there's some hangover effect from Cal for sure, because we've had some of these bad losses. We've had some of these bad losses, and it happens one year, it's a one-off. Then all of a sudden it stacks up 2, 3, 4 years in a row, especially in tournament time. What I think is also a problem is there's a big portion of the fan base who remembers a SEC basketball conference that just was not very good, right? There were some top-heavy teams from year to year. It was Kentucky. It was Tennessee. There were some times
maybe
Texas
Florida
A&M was good. Florida, Florida would drop in there. But up until the last 4 or 5 years, they've really started to come up.
And especially this year. Like, this year is insane.
I don't know tournament history well enough, but I would say we'd be hard pressed to find too many years where you would have some brackets at 10 to 12 SEC teams in the tournament, right? So how many times did it happen for a conference? So yes, for the fan base, there are bad losses because we emotionally don't handle them well. No. And I'm part of that fan base. Like, I'm part of that as well. Like, I was very, very upset that at halftime I was sulking. I changed outfits. I went from garage TV to inside TV. And then I sat there and we took the lead. And I'm thinking, this is going to be a great Saturday. I was stressing for no reason. And then we lose the game and I pouted. And it was 4 hours later. And the wife asked me, are you still upset? I was like, I'm still upset. I'm going to be upset for a long time until we play Tennessee and hope we can get a win there.
Yeah.
But we got to realize that in the committee's eyes, or like in the AP poll's eyes and those sort of things, the SEC is good. These are quad 1 losses. So yes, we want to win them, but they're not detrimental. So the fans, please don't look at them that way. Don't look at them as, the sky is falling. You got to put faith in Pope when he says we're going to learn from it. And We don't want to peak now anyways, right? We don't want to peak in February. We want to get our shit together and peak in March and hopefully April. So I agree, but we know it's not going to change.
Oh, I know. And I won't be on there like whenever that's happening. I'm like, it's not worth it. It's so frustrating because I get being mad, but there are some very vile things that are said. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, that's just gross. Like, I don't be a part of that. I'm good. Like, I'm 1,000% fine not being a part of that. So anyways, but I digress.
And the last thing I'll say is that we have identified multiple times that the stuff is seen by the people who are playing and coaching the game. So let's not try to muddy up those mental waters any more than they already are, right? Mm-hmm. Let's uplift. Yes, players and coaches should be challenged. They should be held accountable, but let's uplift throughout the season and give the guys the credit they deserve for getting us some massive wins. Yes, we've had some letdown losses. We've also had a lot of excitement this year that we haven't experienced in the past. And hopefully that excitement continues as we get into tournament play. But focusing on the Vandy game, we've had some questions. We put it out there. Some folks were asking the first half, what is going on? Why are we coming out so sluggish? This game really kind of seemed like a trap game as we had UT on Tuesday. Seemed kind of like a look-ahead game, and then it was very evident in that first 20 minutes. Do you have identified any thoughts why you think that is?
The slow starts are baffling to me. And I don't know if that's a, hey, let's kind of see what they do type of thing, right? Because I know Pope said before that like they'll kind of play like they'll play and then they'll make it whatever else they need to at halftime. But you can't, in the SEC especially, and going forward, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Like you have to just go. I think the most frustrating thing for me, probably the past couple of games, is Otega Owe's ability to absolutely take over a game whenever he seems like he wants to is mind-blowing, but he doesn't play with that same amount of effort the entire game. You know what I mean? Like he took over in the Bama game, I think it was. Vandy game, same thing. Like whenever it's like he's like, oh, I'm not, whatever, I'm doing it. He can be stopped, and then that effort's not there the entire game. I'm like, okay, so what would be different if you did the entire game? Like, what would that outcome look like if you play with this much effort for the entire game?
I would say that sentiment to the whole team, right?
Yeah.
We get flashes of Amari Williams being a dog out there and using that 7-foot frame to his advantage and like playing angry, right?
Yeah.
And then we get soft, big old British teddy bear Amari Williams at times where it's
British teddy bear.
He's just like what is. I had the cartoon in my head. What is it? Paddington? I'm trying to pull.
Paddington.
He's like Paddington Bear out there. He's just like this super sweet guy. It's like no, we don't need that. We don't need Paddington Bear out there. Going for a rebound. I need elbows out, like dogs barking. Getting after somebody. Get a rebound and then like look at somebody like Ansley does after every time. Like he literally just wants to kill somebody. It's like terrifying. That's what we need from him all the time. We get spurts of Lamont Butler where he's just locked down defender, and then there's a time where it's just like a mental lapse. Otega Owe again offensively was great. Defensively he locks in, and then all of a sudden it's he gets caught in that no man's land area, and that three goes up at that point of the game where you just can't let a three happen.
Yeah,
the players aren't going to be perfect.
No. I
understand that, but when you constantly get down double digits in the first half, it's really tough to come back and sustain that effort in the second half and go up and take a lead. And it's a game of runs. So even if you take a lead in the second half, you got to expect Vandy or whoever you're playing, especially when you're on the road, to get a run and have the advantage to close out that game. I think that first half was more based off of the fact Pope seemed to be really searching for something to do without Carr in the lineup. I think not having Carr as starting, Ansley gave him good minutes, but the rotation was off, and I saw him sub more than he usually does, trying to find the rotation. In the first half, you could tell he was not pleased with what was going on, even though it was a close game at the with that before the first 4 minute timeout, because I haven't seen him call a timeout that early before we even got to 60-minute mark. He was calling a timeout.
No, usually I don't think he does usually either. Like he'll let the team write it out. But yeah, it's Carr has, I guess, been quoted as like steady Eddie or whatever. He's the consistent one. He's like a calming presence. And he's like a little mini Pope, right? So even when you're in that gym, which I hate that gym setup, I forever hate the gym setup. That like either at the other end of the floor, he's still like a calming presence, and he's not on the court. That does affect how things go. And yeah, Ansley gave us great minutes. I love Ansley. We know those too. But when you throw a new starter in there and you're still trying to figure out rotations, and they're that changes things. I think that was a big part in the first half, because even Trent Noah got in there and played minutes. He's not played minutes in a while. Like he's not had minutes in a minute. I
don't think he's seen the court in conference play, so it means he hasn't touched it since January.
That was the first game.
Even before that,
that was the first game for like in a long time since we've seen Trent Noah, and he did good though. Like he hustled. He'll fight for a rebound. He don't care. You know what I mean? Like, he had that one rebound, that great save that led to a 3-pointer. So.
Yeah, I mean, Trent Noah, shout out to you, man. Like, if you had said you're going to put a Harlan County boy into the game, that's what you expect it to look like, right? I don't care if you got the talent that these guys have, or the experience. You got the hustle, man. Like, you can hustle or effort. That's all in you. So, and he definitely gave it. And he arguably was the only one doing it in the first half, or at least for the majority of the first half. I don't like the fact that our road schedule and tendencies and routine were messed up. I'm not going to blame not doing a shoot around on coming out and playing that way in the first half, but the fact that the times got changed and then they chose to not do it. Athletes are very, very routine,
right?
Or need that routine, and I think that potentially threw some stuff off.
I get not wanting to change your routine for shoot around. I completely understand that, because that could have messed up everything. All of it, like we all know, they have very strict itineraries, right? Like, that could have messed up everything. So I get not wanting to do that. That's kind of shameful though, from the fact that they're like, oh no, we don't get that time anymore. That's kind of shady, but whatever. But regardless of that, we still cannot have the starts like that, because we have games coming up, but if we start that slow, we won't come back, and it'll be a really ugly loss. It'll be, you
can't get down
ugly
double digits to Tennessee, who are such a good defensive
Auburn,
team. Same with
Alabama,
Auburn.
like especially at Alabama, you cannot do that. They will bury you in the sand.
Yeah. So another thing that I kind of queued on, and I don't know, this might be way out there, but this was a crazy week that we felt, for a while now with this whole Caleb Wilson thing. We didn't have any games to prep for, and it was really, I don't know what the staff knew. I know what we were told, and it seemed like Kentucky was there up until 11th hour. There's some stuff that came back that really Caleb Williams was, committed to UNC since December, but I don't know how much of that was true or how much of that was told to the Kentucky staff. We saw a lot of staff calories going to see a Caden, and I don't know if there was some hidden messaging behind that to try to get, because Caleb Wilson and Caden are very tight. This is probably the first time that Pope has had to deal with a recruitment of this high of a caliber to where all of a sudden it's trending and not in your direction. You're trying to kind of figure it out. Jasper Johnson, he got here and it went from Bama or UNC to Kentucky. So that was positive news, and that's a little bit easier to deal with. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it, if it, took his mind's eye away from the game and they're trying to focus on, hey, do we have any last-ditch effort to get Caleb Wilson to Kentucky? Again, that might be completely off, but something to consider. Like, this is the first time he's had to deal with that. So, on top of all the other things that are going on, coming off a loss from Bama, traveling to Nashville riding a high from just being, beating Tennessee. So they think they can beat anybody now.
Well, the girls team also beat Tennessee the same week.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was a lot of energy in that building and a lot of hype from the home crowd. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just saying, because the girls team beat Vandy girls beat Tennessee women, and then Vandy men also beat Tennessee men. And that's huge. So.
Yeah. So maybe just the collective of things. But, first half just not great. But second half, for those that were, going back to your point beforehand, for those that were critiquing Pope and potentially still are critiquing Pope for his coaching ability, he made some key adjustments in the second half that really carried us to just get back in the game. And the biggest one that was glaring just from watching, whether ball or not, was Jackson Robinson, Garden 1. Was it Edwards was his last name? Garden, their point guard. His length and Jackson's ability to, be a
Tanner.
good I'm sorry?
Maybe his name was Tanner? I don't remember.
Tanner was 3. I think he was the freshman he balled out to in the second half. I think Edwards was the kid's name. I know his jersey number was number 1, but he's real quick, shifty, and was just tearing us up. He was able to, get his shot off and also create for others in the first half. Adjusting the game plan and putting Jackson on him, and yes, he was quick, but Jackson has got some lateral quickness, and his length, it really disrupted that. And then you just saw the overall effort in playing Coach Pope football. Or Jesus, I'm watching football. I watch the game. Basketball. I got the Buffalo Kansas City game on, so that's what I get for trying to do two things at once. But yeah, that's what we just get his offense going, and it was just a different team in the second half up until about the 4-minute mark. Then we had some mental lapses. But what else did you see in that first half that you that got us back in the game, other than just making shots?
So I don't know if this was by design or it just kind of happened, but there were multiple times where we scored where the guards actually started the offense and not Amari. And I don't know if that changed how they were guarding us, but it was the guards kind of took over running the offense versus us going through Amari, and I felt like it flowed really well from that point as well. Again, that might have been by design. That might have been just, crap, it's going to work this way. We're doing it this way, whatever. But I also noticed that we got way more aggressive in driving to the rim second half. It was not a maybe. It was, oh no, we're going to the rim, and you're either going to foul us or we're going to dunk on your face. And Owe especially kind of took on that mentality. Butler did too a couple of times. I think that changed things a little bit too, because we were the aggressor then and not the one, trying to. We were not our heels at that point. I did see him throw Amari and BG out there at the same time, and I was curious as to why.
He did it in Bama too, and that was one of the questions that we had too on our X post. So I'll let you go on that one. I don't know that that's going to be a recipe for success, but
I guess I don't know why. Right? I don't know what the thought process to that was. I don't know if it's just trying to steal a couple of minutes to get someone else some rest, right? If that was we'll do it for a minute or two because someone wants to breathe or whatever. But Vandy especially, they're much smaller, and I felt like we were at a disadvantage a little. Maybe we need to rebound the ball. Again, I don't know. I know BG had a good block in that same time frame where him and Amari were in there together, but I don't know. I can't see that being a thing just because the offense doesn't run that way. It doesn't work that way. With two bigs in at the same time, unless they're like, okay, BG, you got to shoot more, unless that's a thing, right? And then maybe that's why, but still, that was
he would have to be a stretch four at that point.
Like,
I don't know how it would work. But yes, so it was from Real Blue 24, and my response was, she asked, with Carr out, do we see more BG and AW together on the court? And my response was, oh Lord, I hope not, because their reasoning for it was, we suck at, consistently rebounding the ball. So maybe we get some bodies in there who can do that. But I don't think just putting more size on the floor is going to fix the rebounding problem. It's going to be,
rebounding's an effort. It's an effort problem.
Yeah, we've said it a bunch of times, but it's like, can you put your body on a body, box out, and go put a ball? If you're going to ball watch and hope it comes to you, there's going to be someone flying in who's going to try to take advantage of that. So if whether they're 6'7" or 7'1", they're not going to put a body on a body and use their size and strength to the advantage. Under the rim, I don't know it's going to fix a rebounding problem. And my other thing is, we got burnt so bad by Vandy with our bigs and just not willing to play defense above the 3-point line. Like, they would be a foot behind the 3-point line, give this guy space. I'm assuming because they're worried about getting blown by, because it's, most of these guys on Vandy are guards, forwards who, once played guards, so they're very quick and they're capable. But it's like, if you're not going to get your hand in their face and close that space, they're going to jack up that three. And
they can all shoot.
And on their home floor, that's going to go. It's going to go in. And that was the one thing we couldn't let happen after we got that lead, is the equalizer was going to be a 3-point shot. And even Ansley going 4 or 5, and us shooting much better in the second half, just couldn't overcome those late threes that they hit. But so that combo on the floor, I don't know, unless they are going to mentally say, we're on the floor together, we are going to be the most physical team that we can be. Like, we're not going to play any other team in SEC that's got 2 7-footers with our size and ability. So we are actually going to use it. I just don't know if that helps the offense out, but they got to figure out some sort of rotation, because we saw throughout the entire year, if Carr and Amari were not, were off the court, the offense just was stagnant. It had to be Carr or Amari in there to be that big to help facilitate and run the offense. So you said they're running some more guard heavy sets. Maybe they look into that as well, especially with Trent potentially getting some run, because we know if he gets hot, he can shoot the lights out of the gym.
I don't know, like, if I'm trying to think of how I want to word this here. So obviously, it doesn't sound like Carr will be back anytime soon, which is unfortunate, right? They talked about, his back is really messed up, and it's taken, every time he plays a game, it's back to, square one, which is a problem, obviously, because we need him. He is the one big we have that can consistently post up, score, draw fouls. Like, he is that big.
I can't say it enough. His footwork on the block, in the paint is so incredible.
Good. So good. But I would like to see Trent play a stretch 4. He's smaller, yes.
Is he 6'6"?
6'6", I think, but he's still smaller. You know what I mean? Like, he's some of the SEC guys are huge, obviously, but I think if you could get him comfortable with the ball in his hands in that area, I think he would create an issue. Ansley the same way, though. He's 6'8", right? So, like, I think they just need to get more comfortable, because I don't think Carr's coming back for a while. And we have to have somebody outside of Amari and BG that can do the post up, like, whatever, go get a bucket and one type of thing. Heck, throw freaking Owe in there. Let him post up as a guard. Why not? Right? Like, he's big, he's tough. Why not do it? But we need something.
I think they did do that. Didn't they run that a couple times just coming out of half? Oh yeah, was it Bama? Okay,
it was Bama. Yeah, he did it. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what Pope does going forward with the lineup, just because Kerr's obviously out. Carr's obviously out for a while now with his back. Butler's playing hurt. So, like, we got to find something different. I just don't know what that's going to be.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of this, some of the stats here. You know, the glaring thing that just you're not going to win very many games is you have 17 turnovers in a game, and you have 11 assists. Like that's not any recipe for success, and it sure as hell isn't, Kentucky basketball, right? That assist turnover ratio, especially when you have a senior Lamont Butler. Golly, some of the plays that that have happened in the last 2 minutes of the game just definitely get you scratching your head. And those are the turnovers where 17 is a lot, but man, those last two at the end of the game, that seals it.
It's just crazy that Lamont had 6 in that game. Like that's wild. I don't know what happened there. Like I know one of the ones he threw the ball like into the stands, and I was like, "You good? Like that's not anywhere close. Like what are we doing?" It's I don't know. It was like half the team wasn't mentally checked in. Almost. It was like they couldn't get it together enough. They had a stretch of it, and then it kind of fell apart.
Yeah, and I know he's playing hurt. He's not practicing a lot, so maybe that has something to do with it. Just the rhythm is off. Vandy will pressure the ball. That's what they do. They try to cause turnovers. They have done it well this year. But again, that's just something that you would expect Lamont, and he has shown that he can overcome. So hopefully that's just a one-off game, or he starts getting healthy, more practice time. We'll talk about it here in a few minutes as we preview the Tennessee game. But that Zakai Ziegler Lamont Butler battle is going to be. It's going to be epic, and it's probably going to be the determination of the game, if at least in my mind. The last thing I will say on closing the game out and talk about turnovers is, yes, I like the fact that Owe has the ability to ISO his guy, beat him off the dribble, and finish at the rim. And he did that, and he kept us in the game. Even the pull-up 3, that thing was halfway down.
That's just bad luck.
Yeah, and then the tackle on Amari Williams that didn't get called, but
the little tackle.
I will say I don't like Coach Pope relying on that at the end of the game where you got to have a bucket. That's just, to me, that's not him. Yes, Ortega has shown he could do that, but on 4 straight possessions. Where I think it was 3 straight possessions, and then after the Lamont turnover, they try to run some Owe action again, where just him one-on-one with this guy, and he dribbled off his leg. You start running that same thing over and over again, it becomes less and less likely of a percentage to work, right? Because the team is able to kind of adapt. They're going to help off. It's just Pope and his staff have a phenomenal basketball IQ. When you call that timeout, okay, they're going to anticipate Owe getting the ball. Let's run some action. Even if Owe gets it, it's not just I'm dribbling, and then I'm going to try to make a move and let my talent, be better than the guy who's defending me. Like, let's make some high percentage things. Use that basketball brain of yours and dial something up so we can get, we can get a high percentage bucket, whether that's with Owe or Jackson or whatever. But, with the ball sticks like it has a couple times the last few games, or just dribbling too much with this ISO ball, it's just not going to work for this team because we have good guard play, but we're going to be going up against great guard play with great defenders too as we continue throughout the SEC play. So Tennessee coming up.
Yep.
I can't go 3 straight losses, but man, I don't feel good about it. If we were at home, I would feel better because UT has not shown they can really play well away from TBA, but going to
they just did against Auburn last night, though. So
yeah, that was a 50-point game. They did play well, but that was ugly. It was the best 50-point game that I've watched in a long time. Like, that was an entertaining game. But if we lose a game in the 50s, I think with the way this offense goes, I think I will potentially get a little bit more worried, but potentially a little even panic. But going to Thompson Bowling and having to beat top 10 Tennessee team when you're sort of reeling after 2 losses, not what I would put.
Not ideal. This is not ideal.
No, not ideal at all. But then again, we have seen this team step up for these big games, and a ranked opponent. They have done the first half kind of mental lapse on occasion. But the staff and the players have been able to overcome that, and let's hope they're able to do that against Tennessee. What do you think your quick keys to victory are, assuming Carr is not going to play?
So Tennessee defense is also kind of ridiculous. And we cannot turn the ball over. We also have the head against Vandy too, is we have the issue of sometimes telegraphing our passes and where we're going to put them. And I know a couple of Vandy had steals off of that. They were just like, oh, it's going here to this guard. The guard did not meet the ball. Like basic stuff. Like, if your teams are,
and they're lazy one-handed passes, like there's no tempo to them. Yeah. So it's easy to steal.
Yeah. And that is annoying. That stuff, like the little things have to be cleaned up.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. Can we stop bounce passing the ball to Amari? He is 7'1". Throw that thing up in the air and let him go get it.
Don't throw it to his shins. Put it in his chest.
Something.
Like,
just
don't bounce pass it to him. I agree with you. Right. Everyone happens. I'm like, what are we doing? He's got giant paws. Like, feed it to his
send it up high so no one can get to it, because he has giant hands. He don't catch that well. So let's not bounce pass it to his shins and make him make it real difficult. So all right.
Yeah. No, that's gonna be cleaned up. No, I completely understand. That's be cleaned up. And I need Kobe Bray to stop disappearing. I don't know if it's a mental thing with him right now, or if teams are literally figuring out how to guard him and he's not adjusting, or the coach is not adjusting. But excuse me. He's sort of disappeared. Like, he's kind of stepped back from like where he was. I need him to seek out his shot. And I'm not saying like go drive to the basket. That's not his game. But if they're going to overplay a screen one way, then you go the other way, right? Like, he has to be better at reading the defender in that regard. And maybe what we do is we have Jackson and Kobe screen for each other, right? So the big screening, have them screen for each other, and then what's going to happen then? Maybe they still do that. I don't know. They don't play a lot in the game together. But let's stop making it. You're making it easy on the defense. That's part of the problem too. It's easy on the defense whenever he's in the game right now. And he's too good of a shooter to disappear the way he's been disappearing.
Yeah, there's been times where he's got a little bit of space, and I want him to just throw it up, just take the shot, man. And he doesn't. I think he's making the smart play, because it's like it's a contested three. I'm not open. Let's rotate the ball in the opposite court and get a better shot. But man, you were the best 3-point shooter in the league, and if you see one go in early, it's just like that. That's terrifying for a team. If he sees one go early, especially contested, and then he starts doing the pump fake behind the back into the three. Start putting dudes on skates. That's the Bray we need, the aggressive one. So, we can probably overcome one or two chuck ups, kind of thing where he's contested, but he's tall and it's at a high release. It's not gonna, get blocked. Just let it go. Let's see what happens. Especially long shot equals long rebound, and we could have a chance to get, another, offensive rebound and then a kick out and get an extra possession. So I agree. Brea being more assertive, and I think really at this point we have seen what he likes on the offensive side to actually get his shot off. So now it's got to be on coach Seth to be able to figure that out. Playing him, in that 4, like if we're going to be with that Carr, if we potentially have Ansley at the 5 and play him at the 4 and get, mixing up who is defending him, a slower guy, potentially has more length, but not able to keep up with him as he's doing those, cut throughs and they're screening, the screener type thing where he can jump out and get himself an open shot. And then especially, with Berea's, his ability, if they are going to overplay, he will be able to get past most 4s in league play to try to get to the rim. But he's another one who he has shown the ability to get to the rim, but just not consistently finish because it's just not necessarily his game. Fading away when he doesn't need to, not seeking contact to try to get a foul or at least maybe be comfortable with finishing with contact. So
I just think he's key in the game against Tennessee. I really do. I think we have to have Brea hitting shots. Like he can't disappear. Like he can't. Another thing,
double-digit game from Brea
all 40 minutes
would be great. Yeah.
Give me 12 to 15. 12 to 15. I'm not asking for 30. 12 to 15 because when he's hitting, they're playing tighter on him, which leaves more space for other cuts, other players. So, but it's like soon as the teams like Vandy chased him off the line and he kind of panicked a couple of times. Like he dribbled out and then picked the ball up and was like, "Someone please come get it." But also Tennessee, they hustle. The entire game. They're on the floor. They're going after the ball. They're rebounding. We have to stop being lazy and bending over at the waist and get on the floor for like the loose balls, like the 50-50 balls.
Yeah, I agree. There's we have so much talent on this team and experienced talent. You kind of confuse at times why it doesn't come together. Like I truly believe Jackson Robinson has the ability to be a 3-level scorer. He, we've seen him finish at the rim. We've seen him finish strong at the rim. And then, against Vandy, it just like that part of his game wasn't there. He had a couple, blown layups and, it will come together, I believe. But against Tennessee, I am worried because they will muck it up. They have guys, even Meshack, who was just a hustle guy, right? He's out there canning threes and shooting well. Is it Milicic? I think is the dude's name.
He's the one that I think is the hardest guard for us. He's the hardest one for us to match up against.
Especially with Carr not playing. I don't know who you put on him. It'd probably have to be I don't know. Ansley would be. I think does he play their 4? He plays the 4, but sometimes plays the 5.
Ansley, he plays 3. Yeah.
No, Milicic, I think. Played,
He's a stretch 4.
Yeah, he can
handle the ball.
Nimble,
he can shoot
your
it.
Traditional Euro big.
But
he's
the one that worries me the most.
It's going to be tough, and the thing that I think can limit that offense is because it all rolls through Zakai, right? His ability to get assists and run the offense. He's not always or rarely is an elite scorer, but he can get guys open and get dudes open shots. I'm even okay if Chaz happens to have himself a game and goes off and gets another 18, 20-point game. Yeah. He can have his. We just can't let Meshack get 12 to 15 with a couple threes. We can't let Milicic get into double digits. And in order to do that, I think the job is going to be on Lamont or whoever they end up putting when Lamont comes out.
I would put Owe and Lamont on him because always can guard him too. He's quick enough to guard him.
I think he's quick enough. He's strong enough. And I don't think it's too tall of a task for Jackson to kind of lock Chaz down.
I don't think so either.
And you probably see Chaz, some Ortega on Chaz as well as we get through different lineups. But the Tennessee game does worry me. They are allowing, I just looked this up, points per game. They are allowing 58.4 points per game.
Their defense is crazy. Like, it really is. And, like, it's not like it's not like a Mississippi State defense in that regard where they're all super long and lanky, right? They hustle for everything. They leave everything on the court when they play. That's the thing.
Yeah, you ain't playing for Rick Barnes if you're not gonna be that kind of player. So,
they leave everything on the court, and that's what scares me the most is the fact that we sometimes forget to hustle, and that bites us. And that part scares me. Maybe Pope needs to change the defense up, right? Like, come out, throw something crazy out there. Do a 1-3-1, something crazy. Maybe we press them, right? Maybe we press them and make them uncomfortable in the press. I don't know, but we can't just
we got to do something there. There were too many answers to the test in the Vandy game that we didn't do against Tennessee. Yes, Vandy won, but Tennessee damn near won that game. They were a Chaz free throw away from going to overtime because Tennessee started pressing and Vandy folded. Right? I think there was a 7-9 point lead they had with like a minute and a half left, and then all of a sudden now Tennessee's about to take that thing to overtime because they couldn't handle the press. Yeah. We didn't do it at any point throughout that game, which probably should have been done, especially in 2-3 minutes left when we find ourselves down. Something has to happen. The zone has worked. It also just makes us even more vulnerable to the rebounding because we're just not, we're not down there crashing the boards when we're playing that zone. But it's, looking at what Tennessee has and the matchup kind of nightmares that they do or that they can bring us. We talked about Ziegler. The wild card for Tennessee is Gainey. I am as big as a fan as I can be of a Tennessee player. Gainey's the guy who I'd be like, hey, get him in Lexington as quickly as possible. Like he is a lightning bolt off the bench. He can score, get hot like a match, and he is very, very tough. So when he comes in the game, he's only averaging 11 points, but it's he gives them a good 25 to 28 minutes a game.
And they run a very specific play for him to get him a shot at the elbow. They will run for him over, and he is buckets from that spot. They will run that play specifically for him, and they will keep running it until he either misses a bunch or someone's figured out how to stop it. Like I forgot who I was watching him play against. They ran it like 3 times in a row, and he sunk everyone.
Yeah, that curl around for the elbow for Gainey, and then that lob that they'll throw. They will try 4 to 6 times, and Zakai gets a lot of his assist off that lob play too. So they got to look at that. And we got guys like BG and Amar who are athletic enough and long enough to disrupt that. We just have to make sure. We
have to play the screens right though for us to disrupt it. That's the problem. Our pick and roll defense and screen defense is not great. Just to be fair.
It is. It is not. It's not good. Let's not say it's bad because we're asking for positive vibes, but it is not good. Let's see. I want to go through here and wrap up some of these questions that we had too as we get into Tennessee. But it would definitely be this Kentucky team to go get a win at TBA after back-to-back losses and the fan base just absolutely losing its mind. But let's see.
Somebody asked about returning players. I'm trying to find it.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Returning players. Let's go thing to close on.
Was it Paige?
I think it was Paige on yours. Yeah. So,
my girl.
Paige, we did our best. We did our best to unpack your question about what happened in the first half.
Loaded question, ma'am.
Yeah, with the
loaded
headspace.
Question.
And now talking about hypotheticals on who's going to return. Let's do the easy ones first. TP coming back.
Yeah.
Trent Noah coming back. BG, I think at this point, coming back.
He comes back. Yeah.
Super talented. I know some draft boards say he's a second-round pick, but if you can be a first-round pick by coming back a year, why would you take the risk?
Right.
I think the big one is Ortega. Like, in my mind, I would focus all my efforts right now. Yes, the transfer portal is also hypothetical. We do know some people who are who have already, going to end up there at the end of the season.
Yeah.
But we know Ortega is there. So I got my back offices going, hey, y'all need to work some NIL deals to where
keep him in Lexington.
We keep him here, right? Yes. I think by the end of the season, there's going to be some teams that are going to say he's got a second-round grade because of what he can do with the basketball. He's physical. He can get to the rim.
Yeah.
His jump shot his mid-range is almost automatic. His three-point jump shot just needs some work. But I'm saying, okay, yeah, here's the money you can get as a second-round pick. This is what I got for you as an NIL deal, and we can potentially build you into a first-round pick. So we're talking about long-term investment. Here's some money up front, and we got a long-term investment in ourselves to be a first-round pick.
I think he's the biggest question.
Because I think if we start going on a run and we do get Sweet 16, Elite 8, Kentucky Wildcats, probably going to be on the back of Ortega and his 15 to 18 points a game. And on that stage, is that enough to get some? That
can make him a higher pick, yeah.
Right. At that point, does that get some GMs going, and now we got some teams that are guaranteeing him a pick, probably still in the second round, but early second round type thing.
Even those contracts would be nice though if the team, that's the thing. But I think he's the biggest question by far. Here's the thing. The way that Pope builds his rosters and the players that he gets, I just can't see someone willingly leaving Kentucky because of their being unhappy or whatever else. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't build those types of rosters. Now, as far as like maybe Owe going pro, that's always a possibility. Like we talked about it before. He's much better than we thought we were getting from him. Right? Like, he's much better than people originally thought he was going to be. And
I thought best expectation was going to be like 6 man of the year type thing, like not starter getting us big minutes, averaging the highest points per average on the team. Like, that's not what we expected from him.
That's not what we expected. But I mean, I'm glad we have it. But that's not what we expected. But sorry.
Did you hear that?
I did.
I don't know who's a box truck just backing up near my house. I'm like, what? I listened didn't run into my garage here.
Oh no! Don't make me laugh. We're coughing.
I tried to mute it fast enough, but I didn't know if y'all could hear it or not.
I can't see people willingly transferring out. I just can't. It just doesn't set with how Pope has built his teams. Owe is definitely the biggest question, and then I think Kerr's a big question too. Like, I know he wants to come back and play this year. But I think if he can get a medical red shirt, he'll come back next year and play. And that has been brought up, but that's been put on the table. And to be fair, I don't know. Like, I know we need him, right? I get that. But if he's going to come back until February, late February, does him being out there playing after being off for so long, does that bring the value that we need from him? You know what I mean? Like, that's the toss up. That's kind of in my head, does he bring that value back, or is it just redshirt him, have him next year? Because that experience will be invaluable next year, especially since we're losing so many other older players.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I am curious what's going to happen. A lot of the to answer the question about returning players, and she said specifically the eligible players, like the folks who are eligible now might, or who are not eligible now, may be eligible come next season if the NCAA passes this 5th year rule. So, then you potentially have Ansley would have another year. Carr could play this year and come back next year. So you could get both. But yeah, if he is gonna, we saw some footage of him practicing, but if he's gonna take some time to get in game shape, and then you have him
shape. Yeah.
If it takes him to mid-February to start kind of, just getting on the court and feeling normal, can you then rely on him, or do you want to rely on him to give you big minutes as we get into, tournament play? Seeing him back in Kentucky next year would make me happy, whether that's he gets the 5th year of eligibility through medical redshirt, or they pass this new rule. But yeah, him and Oteg, I think, are the two key ones there. To get back, just to know the system, because you're going to have so many folks, key minutes that are going. But if you get, we got a Caden, we got Jasper, Trent, and
Malachi.
Trent Noah, and then Malachi, Tyler, or Travis, and then BG coming back. You get a couple
and then we got
guys.
Colin Chandler too.
Yeah, Colin Chandler. God, come on, buddy, you got to figure it out. I've seen you play high school ball. You can ball, but you got to figure it out.
He does. Yeah.
They got. You know what? I'm gonna say it. Mormons, you got to figure it out. Don't make this guy go on a 2-year mission when he's out there top 35 recruit. Come on, man. Let him play some ball. He'll get it later, right? And if he doesn't, if he goes on to play a pro career, it's just, man, he's out there. I don't even know where he went, in Ethiopia or something. Probably
he didn't touch a ball for like 2 years, they said.
Yeah, or if he was playing on dirt with guys who aren't, SEC talent. So, my goodness. But they need to figure that out. But hopefully next year he can get that done too, because I think he's just his athletic ability, and he could potentially be that guy to get to the rim and finish and give us those type yams. But I think that answers all the questions, and it'll probably go to a place to close it out. Let's go get a unexpected win at Tennessee, and then we won't. I think it's tough, right? I can't. I don't even know what.
I agree with you. I think it's.
I wonder
tough.
what the ESPN. I close it out, but I wonder what ESPN has.
Don't even look at it.
Game.
Don't even look at it. It won't be in our favor. I will say this: if we do not get the win, BBN, the sky is not falling. Right. Yeah, okay,
we're good.
The sky is not falling. We do not need to fire Mark Pope. Jesus Christ, I've seen that going around. Y'all are freaking crazy.
Yeah. Stupid.
I calm down. It will be okay. It will be fine. I promise. We could have another team and be 1-6 right now. So you know what? We'll be happy where we are.
Speaking of that, we won't do a show before the game. Selena, I gotta get a win on Saturday. I'm gonna be a wreck if something wild happens and we don't beat Arkansas on Saturday. I don't know. I'm not going to make my flight. I'm just going to disappear into find me in Tate's Creek, probably drowning.
We're going to be over there. We can't disappear. I'll have to go. Listen, I'm going to go find Rando in the parking lot, okay? He's going to just run away, and I'm going to be like, all right, hold on, guys. I'll go find him.
I'll be face down in the snow sobbing if we don't figure this out. But you know what? Positive vibes. We're only talking positive vibes. We're going to beat Tennessee.
Only positive vibes.
And we're going to beat Arkansas, and the fan base is going to be back praising Mark Pope on his Monday show.
Yes.
It's funny. The last show he did before the Bama game, someone said, "Coach, I don't care if we don't win another game. I'll love you for what you've done." He's like, "Listen, I know for a fact if we don't win another game this year, y'all going to get real loud. So don't come lying to me like that." And he was correct, because we have only lost 2 now. Then they're already getting loud. But all right, Selena. Well, you have a great week. Looking forward to seeing you Thursday, Friday time frame. Coming back home to Richmond. And for those of you who are listening, get your tails to Richmond, because we're going to do the watch along for the Arkansas game on Saturday at Gillum's. Come beer, booze, pizza, and enjoy some games with us.
Yep.
Let's have a good old time. And like always, go Cats.
Go Cats.
Bleed blue.
Bleed blue.
Peace.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Bleed Blue Network podcast. We hope you enjoyed diving deep into the world of Kentucky sports with us. Don't forget to stay connected by following us on Twitter at BleedBNation. Your feedback means the world to us. So take a moment to leave a review. Not only does it help us improve, but it also helps others discover the show. Until next time, keep cheering, keep listening, and keep bleeding blue.